Hi. Hello. This is Nina Ina Gonzalez. It is 4:20 p.m. Pacific Standard Time here in Southern California on the West Coast in the Western Hemisphere and the US of A, so long as we still have it left, but barely. Our government agencies basically work for the international oligarchy, the cabal. Just an FYI. Okay, and that's why they attack Trump so hard. They don't give a damn. They don't give a shh about him. Okay, with that said, I kind of just wanted to talk about basically my GoFundMe, and really I don't need, I wanted some people interactions and participation in the GoFundMe because it's only about $1,100 and it's to get the used equipment. And again, I'm a targeted individual, TI for short, and that means the government, actually the international community, are conducting remote electronic weapons experimentation on me that also includes augmentation, the drones up in the sky. There could be something like 20 of them at least. I think I counted 22. I haven't really done a really hardcore look, and I wanted better equipment for that. But they're about $15 million a piece now. Okay, the budget's at least a few $billion, and I'm in a very heavily populated part of the United States, which includes several counties, not just one county. And what it is, when you have Psychotronics, and I had my body scanned by a, that's my perp. This is my laser pen, because they're still here. They're electronics. They're not coming here through nature. And it probably even bothered them, even if it was nature. But mostly it's electronics, and I will be pointing at them because that's when they're usually bugging me. And I have my American, several groups within my American, and the Swedes. And the Swedes are really still, they're Nazis, and they are a Nazi stronghold. See, I got distracted. And something, also, the Americans basically made an agreement with the Swedes because of Ernst Frederick Lubing, and Ernst Frederick Lubing's dad was literally an elite Nazi SS officer who faked his death and went through Denmark and then migrated to Sweden and became a citizen. And Sweden harbored World War II war criminals. Okay, he wasn't the only one. They gave him citizenship. These people pride themselves on their details, meaning they don't like anything, and we're just this, or just as pure as the driven snow and nothing, whatever. Okay, they worked for the Nazis. That's all there was to it. They helped with the Red Cross. They took the Red Cross in the trains, and they transported the Nazi soldiers, and they also made the gas for the gas chambers. Okay. So, and Europe is still, northern parts of Europe are still much the Nazi stronghold. Nazism was never shut down. What happened was they did like they always do. You have your monarchies, you have your oligarchies, you have your military, you have your international bankers, you have the powerful elite that come together and then reconstruct and make these decisions. And then they took America into the fold because America militarily was coming into its own and was becoming an issue. But basically it's an infiltration, and this metasmatize, if I can pronounce it correctly, it's a spreading of a cancerous disease. And yes, it is a spiritual warfare, and it is satanic, and yes, it is demonic, and yes, these do have tech and weapons. So with that, it went into America. America is kind of like the Nazi cousins. It is what it is. I don't make this stuff up. I don't make these rules. Okay, I'm just a victim of this system. And why I know this stuff, because it's happening to me. I've already gotten my body scan, and I have my American government frequencies that Sweden is here in America using their drones here, and also these frequencies and technologies, they're sharing them. Okay, meaning they can read my mind and all sorts of things, not just mine, but my family. And me and my family are being scapegoated. because I filed my complaint against San Luis Obispo County Sheriff's Department. That's where it all started with me. And the deputy coroner that handled my baby sister's autopsy in her case, because she committed suicide and she was a targeted individual, and it went to international. And anytime you're international, you get the CIA as what we call your perps. And this whole program is about harassing you, emotionally putting you under extreme duress, sleep deprivation. These are all military tactics, war tactics, things, sleep deprivation, and these are how FBI and our government agencies are trained. But they're not kind enough to tell us that. They are not law enforcement at all. They only take care of themselves and only their needs. And they're basically under the CIA, and they're part of the military industrial complex. Okay, but that's all part of the big lie. They're not here for us, not even for a second. They use us as fodder, and we are literally a food source. We're human trafficked, the whole thing, but I'm really not going to go into that right now. So there's lots of weapons, and they do it remotely and stuff. When it's electronics, you can't see with the naked your eyes. You're not you're not full spectrum analyzers. You're not the electronic equipment that can pick this up because you can't see it. So basically, it's a cow mutilization that they've taken over and put it onto the humans, and it's being done remotely, electronically, and it's kind of like a cloaking thing. And they can do an augmentation while they're doing, themselves, just like they put on the equipment when you do your virtual reality and your augmented reality on your body and equipment. And they can do that and then bring it into my reality, my realm, kind of like a holodeck, and mix it into my 3D material world. Quite literally, they will use your pineal gland, which is your third eye, your mind's eye. So that's very interesting. So they've done that. They hijack it, the whole thing shebang. And then also they're going to be rolling this out onto the public, mainstream it. And they've also been doing this and using these technologies on the homeless vets in Hollywood, etc. And actually will not only experiment on them and kind of act like they're spirits. And then, but they're using, their thing is about discrediting you and killing these people. And they'll kill people in front of people and just call them, oh, they're schizophrenic, they're crazy, they're hallucinating, etc., so on and so forth. Actually, no, it isn't. It is actually technology in its weapons. Okay, that one. The other thing is, like I said, I've got my body scan, and then also I've got my nanotech, and I know who my patent holders are for that. It's a nanotech patent, nanotech, whatever you want to call it. And the 239.99 megahertz is exclusive federal use, and that covers under the FCC, the FM radio, TV broadcasting, and also aircraft communications. I want to be able to capture the TV broadcasting, and I'm going to be getting that used equipment, and so that I can expose my perps and protect and save me and my family's life. It's absolutely paramount. It is absolutely necessary. It has to be done because they're low-life scum, and this is how they're killing and murdering people, and the world needs to know about this. I'm an ordinary person. I'm not a military. I'm not militarily trained, and neither are my family. My mother is a senior citizen getting close to 80 years old. They've already killed about 6 of my family and friends, and they're trying to do the rest of us. And my Latina agent, I call her the brown Nazi. Her job is to basically infiltrate COINTELPRO, use the irregular, unconventional color revolution to kill her own ethnic group up and down the Western Hemisphere, up and down the coast. Her and my ex-in-laws, which are 100-plus-year-old white-collar Mexican mafia, special ops, psychological warfare, military vets, army vets, and also cops, detectives, and also family members within the the fire department engineers. Okay, but the point is, when I filed my complaint with my FBI Latina agent, who they assigned to me, because her job was to protect my, I call ex-in-laws, because they were involved in killing my husband, murdering my husband, in other words. He had warned me for years that his family was going to try and kill him. Okay, what happened? But anyway, what happened was, they're not law enforcement. They played good cop, bad cop with me for years. I thought she was going to do something about my sheriffs. Stuart McDonald, who is a Canadian national. He's not a U.S. citizen, and he got through the job through nepotism. His family were doctors, his dad, all of this other stuff, and his dad has passed. And he has also, I believe, another family member. They still live in Oslo, San Luis Obispo, part of Paso Robles wine country, Cal Poly, and all that malarkey garbage. Anyway, so, but the point is, all she did and all they did was, you know, lie, pass the buck, cover up. And I realize I've come to this conclusion. They're all part of the Masons. I caught Canadian Stuart McDonald in a newspaper article getting his award while he's getting promoted. He started out as a deputy coroner and getting promoted all the way up to commander. And now he's left the sheriff's department and is working for DHS. Just like my ex-in-laws. They're targeted individuals, but they use them in order to save their own hides, their own lives. He's been dirty from forever and a day. Okay, but the point is, I had a coworker, and they kind of sort of picked him up, whatever, a couple of my coworkers, but she was protected and left alone because her dad was a retired cop. I don't have that. Oh, I wonder what that noise was. My ex-in-laws, the cop, you're a Mason. That's why he was never a religion, a Christian, or anything like that. Well, that's because he knows about all this stuff. So they're stupid, and that's what's going on. And it finally clicked, and I realized, yeah, it's real. But you're not supposed to have law enforcement with these secret societies that are satanic, but not only satanic, they're into the heavy child trafficking and the child torture and sacrificing, demonic, satanic torture, where you torture a child, an innocent child, because it's necessary for all this crap and garbage to the nth degree, because you're trying to drum up the biggest demon you can. You know, that's why they call it black magic, and bring it into this world, and why they've got spirit cooking, and they're tying and cursing that person into the spirit world, which they've already hacked and weaponized. Okay. I want to see how many people are on my side or how many people are going to screw me over, because I'm going to get it. I may have a GoFundMe, but I don't really need it. I kind of wanted some kind of moral support. I want people involved, but there are bad people, extremely bad people. You know, I kind of think when you're a sociopath, you got some kind of freaking disease. They like you. They may, that kind of goes into all this other stuff, I'm having people telling me a bunch of things. Oh, you need to do this and you need to do that. Excuse me. No, I don't. My family's lives are at stake. I can't go back into the old world, the old matrix that doesn't exist. Okay. And not even, let's just say hypothetically, the whole world is saved and cured, and we get rid of them and we're allowed to have freedom and peace again. There's no going back after this. Never. Not when you've been this used as a food base, a food source, where our Americans were trading us with these demonic ETs as a food source. And that's why they heavily traffic and they take us. And hello, folks. I'm just not. Hey, hi, Bobby. How you doing? That's okay. That's okay. I'm used to weird anomalies. Okay, yeah, you need to get some rest. Uh, that's my laser pen, Subi. It's a laser pen, and I use it for I'm a TI. I don't know if you've ever heard of us. We're targeted individuals, and I have perps. I know you can't see them. It's government. It's electronic, and it's government weaponization, and they're using it to attack regular, ordinary civilians. And it's in the millions. And you know, I could go into that. But this is like kind of like my first time going live on YouTube. I don't really have never I have my own computer, but I haven't really been allowed to use my own computer. So it's a long story. But it's a laser pen, and since they still have to kind of use like technology, and it messes with their ability to see. And there's other tech that we're talking about, and also the tech to expose this program, because what they're doing is these satellite IP addresses, they beam into our head, especially if you have psychotronics, because we can hear and see them. And it's like you're a soldier, but you're with an invisible helmet, and it's wireless, and where you can see them and talk to them, but other people don't know this. And they're also augmenting the reality, kind of like a holodeck. So that this is the new frontier. This is what's going on, but they're rolling it out, and it's going to become mainstream. And people have to be careful, because it's a kind of enslavement. You do not want to get a chip in your brain. They want to make it seem like it's all cool and fun, and, you know, transhumanism, and you might be able to fly through the sky, you know, just whatever. But that's kind of like intelligence agency, CIA way of fooling people into a lot of things. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, I definitely want to talk to you. Mhm. Okay, this is Robert Stanson. He's also a TI. He's a Marine. He's a special ops Marine, which is also psychological warfare. He's 45 years old. Here in California, he made them. These are rare Dimian magnets, rare earth, and it's a certain weight to it, not weight, but pulling weight. And he has them both on both sides, and he calls it reverse polarity. So that makes a magnetic field, so that the technology, even though it's very sophisticated technology and much stronger, it's like Tesla technology. And Tesla, it was doing wireless all the way back in the late 1800s, and also scalar waves. And that's a whole other thing. That's we'll go on that subject another time. Um, but yeah, I can. What happens is they call it, they can read our minds. It's called remote neural monitoring, and it stops them from reading my mind and gives me some privacy. So because they really are, they use it's called directed energy weapons, and we call it DEWS for short, DEWS. And they will hit us, they will attack us. It's kind of part of their quote unquote predictive programming, predictive policing, all sorts of. This is like 1984 Big Brother nightmare, you know, worse than on like plus steroids. And it's all part of the UN Agenda 2030. And this is the kind of stuff they're doing with the Chinese people. And they want to bring in China as the next superpower, and trying to replace America, and bring down America. So yes, you do. And it also heals your brain from this tech. It's not good for you. It's radiation, it's ionizing, and it messes also with your memory. You have to also protect the back of your head, your neck. Um, oh, really? Okay. Hi, Subi. Okay. You don't, well, the point is, it doesn't matter if you have V2K or not, they're reading your mind. Okay. And and I don't know what to tell you. And if you're seeing airplanes and helicopters, you got the frequency 239.99 megahertz. That's under FCC code, you know, FM radio, TV broadcasting, and then also the aircraft communications. That's the drones and the helicopters, the airplanes, etc. So and also your brain needs a break, and that's what it does. And I try to sleep with it at night. And also he gave me these earplugs, and I need to talk to you, Bobby, about this stuff. We got to do something quickly. I did talk to Robert and I got off the phone, but I'll have a direct communication with you. So yeah, so it definitely works, and he's got a whole lot of other stuff. But my focus, besides the fact that I'm wearing this, because it gives me a little bit of privacy, because I literally cannot even sit in a chair. They will start attacking me. They attack me when I'm eating food, dinner, whatever. They attack me when I go to the bathroom. They attack me when I take a shower. They attack me if I'm just sitting in a chair. I literally have to go into this copper-like pyramid thing that I made that kind of like make it like a tent with RF cloth and some other copper that's grounded. And it's pathetic. It is really pathetic. I pay rent for this, and as another TI, Letitia Peters, calls it the execution chamber. This is their UN agenda idea of a smart city. They just basically made the whole world their Auschwitz ghetto. And and like John Whitehouse, Juris Doctorate Attorney John Whitehouse, he said that this is electronic concentration camp. They just spread it out. They just change the name, and then we fall for it. And the other thing is that I'm just realizing that we've been fooled, screwed so badly, it's not even funny. But it's all coming out now. I mean, they barely even hide it. At some point, they're going to either probably go, oh, we're ETs, this, that, and so on and so forth. There's reasons why I call it, I listened to the book of Enoch, and because it describes, especially my Swedes, because it took me a while, to not just wrap my head around it, but to accept it, that demons could have technology, spacecraft and all of this stuff. Because I've noticed when I'm dealing with them, I'm dealing with something that's interdimension. It's not outer space. It's the fourth dimension. And they're very parasitic. And then I also realized the Morgellons is them. It's their DNA. I'm like, oh, great. Thank you. That's why everyone's calling it black goo and demon this. I'm like, oh, Lord have mercy. No wonder they didn't want to cure it. They don't want to cure it. They want to cover it up and give everybody else more nanotech. It's just like, oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, but I had to spend a few grand to prove all this. But I did. So that takes me out of the crazy area, because that's what they want to call us. Oh, you're a psychotic, and you're just, you're hallucinating, you're delusional, you're schizophrenic. You could be 60 years old, but you need to be in your 30s or something younger to get schizophrenia, a schizoid defective, and this and that. Look at, I'm not the sociopath and didn't write the DMS, whatever the book is, the psych, whatever book. They did, and they're all part of the CIA MK Ultra. They've been in on this forever, for longer than I've been alive. Especially it took off during World War II. Started during World War I. Don't believe me? Ask the Armenians, because that was a Nazi model that they committed genocide on. But and that's where all these books and the authors were doing their whistleblowing. But I'm doing this, and I'm learning along the way. And I have to try sometimes, because there's interesting things, because there's a lot of government agents, we call government ops, who come in and infiltrate and try to pretend that they're victims like us. No, they're government, and they get paid to be this way. They get paid, like, for instance, at the polling places, they're there. At the grocery store, they're all over, they're all over the place. In the activist groups, they're there. That everything is providing a cover. And to me, I kind of call it like a double agent, but double agent would mean you're working for two different countries. But they're there, and it's pissing me off. It is pissing me off. They're making sure they get their bucks, and they use the weapons on them, but I'm not going to sit there and cry for you. I'm not going to sit there and cry and whine for you. So I don't like this. My personality, my temperament don't like this. No, no. And I have my Swedes. They love to stand behind me. If you watch me enough, you're going to always know they're always like behind me. And they do use the ionosphere, and everything is kind of backwards like a mirror. they bounce it off, and then you get the reflection. And so everything's backwards, and then they're always in the back of me. And then I had one TI, Jennifer Crawford, that sort of got me in the mix of all this mess. And her daddy was CIA. Oh, that's aliens. Yeah, but they're not going to tell you the full truth, which is pathetic. But they're crowding me, and then when they super crowd me and they go into places, they're going to irritate me. I mean, physically around me. And that's why I call it is an augmented reality. It's like you can feel them, sense them, da 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 da, and everything is electricity. So, and that's the new thing. And what I was also talking about. It's the new war frontier. It's the war of the worlds, and so hopefully, I can't. The point is, I need the money quickly to get the technology. There's other people that I know that also have experience, and I'm going to be going through it because I need to expose this ASAP, because my life and my family's life depend upon this extremely. And so I have to kind of go in and move very, very quickly. I mean, I expect to be putting out 98% of the costs on it. I don't really care. And I want to get involved with the TIs, but the real TIs. And part of me is getting worried about these undercover ops. And because there's game players, there's absolute game players. But I've also talked about, when you're a TI, you need to have like 5 degrees, just to begin to be able to survive. I'm not an undercover op kind of competing. Oh, I have a degree. I'm in this, I'm in that. Excuse me. I don't really give a shh. I'm not competing with you guys. You guys, the undercover ops, I'm not competing with you. You're idiots. I'm not competing to get rid of my soul. I'm trying to keep my soul. That's the second death. And that's what the new nanotech is. They're trying to disconnect us from our higher selves, our spirit God connection. And that's where the pineal gland comes in. And that's where also the psychic powers and everything else. And I believe, anyway, I just need to do it. Let's just put it this way. I'm a warrior. I'm pissed. I don't like being played like this. I don't incarnate into this world for this kind of crap and garbage. No. And I'm going to be moving forward. If people want to get involved, cool. You want to get involved and learn with me? Cool. Very cool. Because I want to be like a gangbuster and break it open. And I think that's why they're nervous with me. That makes sense. Because I was just focusing on my perps, but the other ones are kind of, I'm pretty sure Bobby could start to vouch. Yeah, I kind of stuck my foot in my mouth the other day I'm like, ooh. Yeah, but I'm learning, and I'm learning a lot of stuff, not just about tech and all this other stuff, but I'm learning about kind of the chess game, the strategy. I just the chess game and how to be much more quiet, and and just don't get involved with the bullshit. And I'm more involved. I rather get involved with people like Candace Owens, who's actually doing a lawsuit. She's doing it against Zuckerberg. She calls it factcheckzuck.com, and she's gotten these really outstanding attorneys. One of them that represented the kid that got slandered and was called a Nazi and everything else when it was at was in DC, and he didn't do anything. It was just total the news media made the whole thing up, and so they sued, and he won, and he's out of Kentucky, the state where Rand Paul is. And I guess there was another attorney, and I'm trying to remember. I think it was the attorney something to do with cigarettes, something like that. But so she's got some killer attorneys. She's going to go after them, and you can donate. I like the idea, if you donate, you become part of the class action suit, and so that you get according to what you've donated into it and get it back, so to speak. I think you would get more people involved. And I know somebody who's used that kind of a method or model, and that was young Pharaoh. And I believe he's out of California. I believe he's in Compton, but he stopped doing it. But he's going after Facebook. Everybody's going after, the social media. They set themselves up. And I told people, you need to start doing your class action suits. You know, you just don't sit there and roll over and let them do this. Do not let them do this. I did talk to Liliana, and I did talk about the other woman that used to work for the UN, and she was thanking me for it. And I said, you need to contact her ASAP. And what I'm going to do, and I told Robert it only costs $5 a month to get a Canadian international, which gives you unlimited text and message, whatever, phone calls to Mexico and also Canada. Can't keep putting it on other people, you know, especially people that are in, I'm just going to use the word duress. So, you know, they said a lot of people are going to be exposing themselves, and you're going to see their true colors and their feathers. And somebody put it in terms of feathers, whatever. But I listened to, what is it, Bill Binney. He was talking about the software, even though they were generals. You can't completely always trust the generals. Okay, I would trust Bill Binney, who's connected to Karen Melton Stewart, who are not only whistleblowers, but she's a TI. And he said, you know, I mean, it's obvious, but I like it when an expert says, you know, just validates what we already think we already know, and basically proves it that this election stuff is just a massive, gargantuan fraud. And you cannot pick a president. The media cannot pick a president. It's not decided until the college electorate. Let me see, I can say it. Electoral, and that doesn't happen until December 14th. So it's a scam upon scam upon scam upon scam. And it reminds me, identical, these people are Masons. Kamala Harris, a Mason Eastern Star. They got all these celebrities, and these celebrities already know big time CIA is nothing but child trafficking, child torture, satanic crap, not only of the children, you know, but also even of their own celebrities and athletes, which we see happen all the time. Kobe Bryant, Prince, Whitney Houston, her daughter. It just goes on and on and on nauseam. And I kind of find it interesting. They've been doing a lot of African Americans for a very long time. What's the deal with that? So that's kind of interesting, but they know that. And so I'm disgusted, and they were sitting there defending, you know, when Hillary, okay, I don't even call her Hillary anymore. Hillary, when she was running, they were taking pictures with the stars, and the stars were like, ah, and the stars, even Kim Kardashian, oh, Biden won. Well, you kissed Trump's ass when you wanted something done. No, you're letting us know whose side you're really on, because these people are against us. And they're not just against us. They want us killed, dead, and gone. They only serve the European oligarchy. And it's much higher than you think. They're people that you've not seen. So, but that's okay, because their day is coming. I don't have to wait for God. Maybe I'm his warrior. I don't know. But there's many of us, and we're getting tired of it. And we're talking about, we're growing up, and we're awakening, and we're maturing. And, you know, we've been wanting this for a very long time, And so we're kind of coming into our own, and we're going to take the power back. And like I tell Trump on Twitter, I don't just talk to other people. I go on Twitter. He pays attention to the intelligence information off of Twitter, and the metrics and so on and so forth. The metrics is one thing, but actually you have to get the intelligence, and he gets that there, but it seems like nowhere else. And he doesn't talk to you necessarily back at you. It's more through actions. And that's like, you know, a king or a queen, they're getting their information from that one source. And that just happens to be it. And okay, let's hope that I don't lose my train of thought here. But and which I did. It's kind of interesting. I can see my Swede perps, and they'll kind of crowd me around my head, even with the helmet. And they're like, it's almost like they're testing to see, because I haven't usually done this really out in the open. I'm in my pyramid with the cloth, with this, and then so on and so forth. And So it can still, it's not like absolutely perfect, but we're dealing with really highly, highly sophisticated, very powerful equipment, and frequencies. And even if they are low frequencies, so on and so forth, we're up against, you know, this really militarized grid with these drones that are $15 million a piece. I did my research, I come up with this stuff, and I'm even shocked, you know. So, you know, I mean, I understand that you got HARP, you got the drones, you got the satellites. I mean, that's the kind of technology you're up against, you know. So, I mean, the best ideal thing would be to be underground, just like the military, and then have it fortified. And but anyway, so anyway, I think that's why they did it, because they didn't want me talking about Trump. They hate Trump. So and then you'll see me use my laser pen. But okay, so that's kind of what's going on. We're coming into our own, and we're gonna just basically take it back. And then also the lawsuits. And I listened to also Bill Binney, and then also Jerome Corsi. He's the PhD political scientist, and he's doing this way before. He proved, along with Sheriff Arpaio, whether they like him or not, out of Arizona, that's their job. He's a cop. You know, he's a sheriff, and they got the forensics and proved that Obama's birth certificate was a fraud. It was forged. He's not born in Hawaii, not by a long shot, but his mommy is CIA. So, you know, CIA is going to install him. And his daddy, yeah, he's royalty in Kenya. That's the way it goes. And then they probably were doing all this mind tech on him since he was a kid. He's a sick mother. Okay, he buys 60,000 worth of hot dogs, which is code for little boys, and then takes them to the White House. Okay, and lots of people already know he's gay. I don't care if you're a gay. I don't care if you're LGBTQ. I care if you're a scumbag. Okay, I care if you hurt children. You need to be ixnayed. That's what I care about. Okay, it's just like you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Okay, with any race, with any color, with any gender, with any culture, religion, etc. You know, there's always going to be good and bad. And that's just the way it goes. And he's a pig. He's filth. And he killed that little Asian girl and then wrapped her up like a BDSM dude, you know, a sadistic male, you know, perverted pig, and, you know, bound her all up and then had the mouthpiece in there and then like threw her in the trash like in the garbage, like she's nothing. So these people need to go. And the military police can pick them up. They don't have to be necessarily in Gitmo. They need to be in military prison. These are political government criminals. They don't belong in regular prison jails. They don't belong in general population jails like Epstein. Epstein was connected with all the spies. That was a CIA psyop to the max. They did a dead man switch on him because they wanted to cover up everything, because there would be too much of a limelight if it went into the military courts and the public would be staring. It should be. But they had to cover up their own dirty work. That was the problem. And in Ghislaine's in regular prison, I'm like, give me a break. But the thing with Trump, no matter what anybody says, he's kind of a wild card. And you can get him. He can, you know, you kind of, you know, you bug him enough, he'll do something. Far more than they will ever do. All they'll do is like, you know, give me money, money, money. Come on, China. Come on, oligarchies. Come on. We'll screw them over, kill them, and we're a food source for this demon crap. And they play with us like we're food. That's why they human traffic on such a large scale. But my point is, I kind of want to prove that and get to that point. And I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be popular, but I'm already used to not really being very popular. I don't really, if I look for it, it's because I'm just trying to break this open, and I'm going to do it. And I think I'm getting more and more determined about doing it and not worrying about if people are going to come along or not. And I don't need to prove anything to anybody. I know that there's people that are going to jump on because they want to make money. And I'm like, you know, you ain't got nothing. If you don't have a world, you ain't got shit. Okay, that money ain't going to help you. You're not going to have billions of dollars that they'll treat you like the nouveau riche and then take you into their little club. Okay? Get over it. You know, if you ain't got freedom, if you don't have a world and you don't have a life, there's nothing to talk about. So that's what's going on, you know. But you know, if there's these class action suits when we go after the social media, the mainstream media, sure, go for it. You know, after they screwed us so many times, sure. But when it comes to the big things, when we're trying to save our life and putting all our efforts and energy into it and literally trying to save our lives and our families' lives, and somebody piggyback riding so that they can get, you know, that's what I'm worried about. You know, that's what I'm worried about. They're profiting off of us doing the work and getting screwed over at the same time. That's what I worry about. And I'm starting to see a lot of those people. And I'm getting pissed. And I get mean. I do get mean. As hard as that may seem, I do get mean. And sometimes, you know, some of these tactics always work on me. And but I mean, I already had Annie Casper. She's one of them, but she's being outed. But she did it. She threatened me. She literally, you know, she calls me up and left a message or whatever you want to call it on my at Facebook Messenger, and she's like threatening me. I'm gonna call DH. Blah 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 blah. I'm like, girl, go for it. You know, you don't play games with me because I won't hurt you physically. So, you know, if you're undercover gov perp or whatever, it's not going to benefit you. I'm not impressed. But I'm trying to expose my perps, and I'm going to expose it. But I'm also taking notes because I want to know who the scumbags in our TI community are. I really want to know because I'm pissed off. I'm more than pissed off. I'm sick of this stuff. I don't like the shit that happened to Lisa TI. And you know, it's not about if her, you know, her transgender whatever. It's not about that. It's never has been. You know, at least for me, it has been. I mean, she insulted a lot of the leaders. It happens, but she became her own leader, and she ended up dying. And then I kind of come to this conclusion where I'm having to say what happened. You know, I did a lookup. I got the case file number, and I called the Maryland forensics department. And then I said, I'm calling to find out the cause of death. And then I gave them the case number, and they go, Paige Harris. And I said, yes. And they said fentanyl toxicity. And then I'm sitting there trying to translate that. And because I'm going fentanyl, I'm trying to remember what fentanyl, you know. And then I go, you mean drug overdose? And she said, yes. And then I said, okay, thank you very much, and hung up. And then I had to go look up fentanyl to remember that was a synthetic opioids that the CIA had introduced into our society to get us killed. The Chinese like that. It takes less than a size of a grain of sand. This stuff is so damn freaking toxic. It's meant to take out elephants. But that's part of the other part of their game. Way part of their game. So that to me is another, that yes, the perps killed her. So in other words, translation. It was not directed energy weapons, and she was not shot and killed to death. Okay. So yeah, I'm just kind of wondering, because I'm not competing also to be a leader. I'm not. I'm really not. I'm competing to expose this and have it done. Have it stop. I'm pretty sure there's other people who agree with me. That's what needs to be done. Really needs to be done. And if people make this, everybody's into profiting and, oh, I want to be an elite, just like, you know, Frederick Lubing, where his daddy was literally a Nazi SS officer that was given haven and citizenship in Sweden. They harbored a war criminal, meaning where were the Nazi hunters? If they had taken care of him, me and my family wouldn't be dealing with this right now. I would be back with just my American perps, which was better than what I've got now. I lost my aunt, my best friend, his dad, my nephew's dad. Who else? at least 4 people when it went international, and they're trying to finish us off. And they got the FBI Latina, my Nazi Latina agent, heading it up. So, anyway, so with the HARP equipment and with the North and the South Pole, and they kind of got us encased. So this augmented reality, you can look it up. Just put Pentagon augmented reality, and it will be there for you. It's very, very real. And also is irregular warfare, unconventional warfare, color revolution. What else? Guerrilla urban warfare. All of these are covers for the agents. And the agents, the undercover agents, are all over. Instead of wearing camouflage, they're camouflaging themselves as regular civilians. This is the same thing that they did like in Libya, Syria, Iraq. I mean, they got Libya to kill their own leader and destroy their own country and turn it into rubble and give them over their gold. That's what I'm saying. They get people to help kill themselves. It's nuts. It's neurotic. Very neurotic. So this psychological warfare works too well. Too well. Okay, I'm getting these messages. I do use the hotspot, but I'm also learning here. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to end this now, and I'm also going to upload it to my GoFundMe because I was telling me I had to do that so that I can have the video. It's a whole long story. But that got me to go and learn this and to practice and get into it. And I'm just keeping my fingers crossed. And Bobby, I'm going to give you a call, and we'll go from there. And I want to see changes real soon. I know Thanksgiving is coming up and Christmas is coming up. And so I helped to take care of my nephew and his children and his wife. And I'm glad about that. And I'll be working on getting these kids stuff because this shit is rotten. Rotten as hell. It's rotten garbage as hell. Right, Latina FBI agent? Out of Los Angeles field office off of Wilshire, where the UCLA and the VA Veterans Administration and all the graveyards and the 405 freeway and Wilshire, and then you go into Santa Monica, and where I captured a real vet that gets attacked with this tech, the kind of stuff that I go through. And that was sent out as a message and a threat to me. And it's not just to me, but against my nephew and stuff like that. So I'm going to end it that. I'm going to leave and say peace out. God bless, and bring God's spirit, bring God's Holy Spirit into our reality and into our realm. And may He have spread the hedge of protection over us constantly and completely and throughout this world and throughout the universe and the galaxy, and take it back, because at some point He is. God bless.